Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you another awesome interview. On the line with me right now, I have Speed from the band Silvertung, and this should be an awesome interview. Speed, what's going on?
Man, everything's going on, John. How are you doing, man? Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, that's not a problem. Everything's going good as always, and I want to bring you guys on and talk about Silvertung's music and get you out there a little bit more than what I can.
Oh, that is awesome.
So it looks like you guys have a new CD that's out right now, Devils in the Details. Let's talk about that a little bit, and hey, what can we expect on this one?
Actually, on Devils, it's going to be there's a lot of growth from the last album that we put out. We took everything to heart on this one. I was on the first album. I was a little afraid to pour my heart into things. I was afraid of what people might think, or you know how somebody might feel, and they judge me on it. But after doing this for a while now, I've realized that I'm no different than anybody else. The fans that listen to it go through the same things that we do. You know, they don't disrespect us for, going through troubled times and looking at us in a bad way. It actually helps people out. We've had a lot of comments from the album about people saying, man, this song really, really touched me, and it helped me get through my emotional parts of my life that I had to deal with the same as you guys did. So I think you're going to get a lot out of this album. It goes from one extreme to another.
I've actually listened to
it. Which is good.
I've got the opportunity to listen to it, and it's pretty damn good, man. You guys did a really good job on this one. Thank you.
Yeah, we poured a lot of time into this one. We actually had the fans help us write this album.
Oh, really?
We would take songs out and play them live, and we told the fans, you guys are going to help us write this new album, and we brought new songs out. We played them. If they liked it, then we kept it. If they didn't, we would come bring it back, put it on the chalkboard again, and go, all right, let's rework it. Let's fix it till they do like it. Because, initially the fans are the ones that are buying it. I mean, we got to put the big money up front, but, on the opposite end of that, your fans are the ones that they're going to support you, and they're going to buy your albums and your merch and everything else. So why shouldn't they have a right to say what goes on there?
Exactly.
That was our outlook.
Exactly. And I think that some bands have missed that part. It's the fans are the ones that put you there. That's exactly right, man.
Right, and that's one thing we'll never forget. Without the fans, there is no us.
Yeah.
So I mean, and there's a lot you have to look at for this album. We didn't want to write the kind of the trend today of, okay, let's write one really great song and we'll just fill the rest of the album. We were like, no. I want to write a great album and let everybody enjoy song 1 to song 12. That's what we want.
Do you think that this is some of your best songs right now, or are we still waiting for the best to come on others possibly?
I don't know if we've actually written our best yet.
Okay.
I think this is a really good turning point for us, and it shows a tremendous growth of where we've come from to what we're doing nowadays. And I mean, we're already starting to work on new songs for the new album, but we still want to ride this one for a while and let everyone enjoy it. And we want to enjoy some of the wealth from it too. Not the money wealth, but the wealth of people enjoying it. The fans getting a chance to get their hands on it and listening to it, because we've got a lot of feedback from quite a few people. I mean, we're starting to sell units out in Australia, Germany, in different countries now. So it's a great thing for us.
What's that mean to you guys when you're getting stuff like that coming across, seas like that, and people listen to your music? How's that feel?
It's amazing. For one, I mean, the internet is incredible. Mm-hmm. You can reach anybody on any corner of whatever world you want to be touching. And does it make it easier for bands today? No, because there's 20,000 bands doing the same thing we're doing.
Coming Alive is the single that's on the new CD, Devils in the Details. But what are some of your favorite songs off this to play live?
I have a few which are turning up really weird right now, because we've done a lot of interviews for the album, and And a lot of the DJs are saying the same thing. But one of my favorites is Burden. That's one of the very last songs we wrote, which almost didn't make the cut for the album. So
wow.
It was kind of weird. We went in and we laid down the rough tracks and it sounded really good. And then we laid in some other guitar work underneath of it, and then the producer took care of it, and he brought it back to us, and he said, check this out. And we listened to it, and we were like, whoa, where did that come from? Because it's so tight, and it's just so, I don't know, it's just got that groove that I like. But I like them all, but, you know, Burden's probably one of my favorites. And actually, like Never Too Late. Never Too Late is another one of my favorites from off of that. But like Here Again, I like the whole album. We weren't the judge and jury on what's the first single. We kind of asked around a little bit to some professional people out in the industry, and everybody kept coming back saying Coming Alive should be your first single. And we were like, well, why is that? And they were like, well, because it's kind of what's going on right now. You need to push what's going on now. And I'm like, well, I'd rather be tomorrow than be now. But it was a good choice because it's getting a lot of feedback.
Does everyone in the band contribute to the writing process, Speed, or is it just you normally? How do y'all work that out?
Yeah, actually everybody helps out. I mean, even the drummer Dano, he plays some guitar as well, and his riff, the riff that he wrote is actually in Daddy's Little Girl. The main riff to that song is his riff. He come in with it, and we didn't know what to do with it at the time. You know, we were like, that's a really cool riff. We're not feeling it right now. We don't have anything for it, so we backlog everything just in case. You know, we can always pull it back up and say, okay, remember this. But yeah, I do most of the lyrics. I would say like 90% of the lyrics. The only one I didn't do all the lyrics on really was "Used to Fly." "Used to Fly," which also was one of my favorite songs. My bass player and I, Scoot, we talk every day, and there was one weekend we didn't talk at all. And I had caught him on that Monday, and I said, "Hey man," I said, "what's going on?" He says, "Well, I've been writing, and I had this song in mind, and I kind of put it down." And I said, "What were you writing about?" I said, "Because I was writing as well." And he told me, and we initially wrote the same exact song without it being word for word. And I was like, "Oh my God, dude!" I said, "What did you do with the lyrics?" He goes, "I threw them in the trash." I said, "No, you got to get them out. You got to get them out." So he did, and he read all the lyrics to me, and then I read him my lyrics, and he's like, "How did that happen?" I said, "I have no idea, but you wrote the same song that I did, just not word for word."
Wow.
So then we kind of sat down and we came up with some chords, and we liked the chords that we were using, and then I came up with a really cool melody, and then it just kind of all gelled from there. And we were just kind of like, wow, I can't believe this song came from where it did. And everybody writes on this in the band. Everybody has a conscious way of writing for the band, for any album that we do, actually.
This is the first time I've ever asked a band this, and I want to know a response from this, but what's the most craziest place that you've been at where lyrics have just spontaneously came to mind and said, "Oh my God, I got to start writing this down"?
Strip club. I can't lie, man. It was the strangest place, and it's kind of where Daddy's Little Girl came from. we were part of a local television show, and it was called Renegade TV, and one of their sponsors was Scores. So they invited the band out for this big grand opening, and not the grand opening, but the merging of the companies, and just joining on the sponsorships. And we went out with them, and we're sitting there and we're talking, and I'm hearing this riff in my head, and I'm like, oh man, I got an idea. And I ran to the bathroom and I grabbed some napkins, and I'm sitting at the bar, and these girls are dancing by us, and they're like, this one girl comes over and she's like, "You should give me $1." And I said, "Not right now. I'm in the middle of something. You got to keep moving." So I just sat down and I started writing some of Daddy's Little Girl, which was very, very cool because it's kind of what I was writing about. It's not necessarily for strippers, but it was kind of like that. It was the moment, I think. So that was probably the strangest place I've ever written any lyrics.
I would have told her to give me $1.
Yeah, you give me $1 because I just wrote this about you. It was cool though.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to keep
my drummer goes, "No, that's rock and roll."
Yeah. rock and roll. All right, man. Who were some of your influences coming up?
I have to say Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Some of Godsmack stuff. We actually dug into some of the older style of music as well. Like my bass player really likes Black Sabbath stuff. That's some really cool stuff. Pantera was another one of our influences, especially my guitar player Z. He loves Dimebag. Foo Fighters. We were really big on the Foo Fighters. A great band.
Yeah.
Soundgarden. I mean, Chris Cornell is probably one of my leading favorite vocalists. Him and Miles Kennedy are probably two of my favorite vocalists out today. And so that's kind of where we came from. We kind of grew up more in the '90s and stuff, but we still dug back into our history where. I hate to say this, but music back in the day had a little bit more meaning.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I agree with you. I think there's a lot of bands that rush stuff out, and it sounds like the same old thing, and then they just fell away.
Right. I mean, we've actually been accused of doing a little bit of cookie cutter ourselves, but we didn't mean to. It was just this is kind of just how we write. Can we write differently? Yeah, sure we can. There's no limits for us, and I can't speak for any other band, but I don't think there's any limits for us of how we write. I mean, when we started off with songs like Deja Vu, and I mean, I Don't Care, and it was one of the very first songs that I wrote completely through for this album. And then it was Never Too Late, and then come up with Deja Vu together as a band, which was one of the first songs that came together as a band. And then later on, one of the last 4 songs that was written was Used to Fly. We weren't expecting to put a ballad type song on here. We were just kind of just rock the entire album, and that song was just too special. We were like, man, we gotta throw this one on there.
What can fans expect at a show from Silvertung?
But at a show, a lot of energy, a lot of craziness. Really, the thing that we like to do. I had a couple of DJs ask me, so what's the message from the band? I said, I really don't know. We don't really have a message. We're not out here to spread a message. This is music, and you take out what you can. I'm not going to tell you how to think. So at live shows, we kind of project who we are, and it's just about having a good time. Everybody's got problems in their lives. We all know this. We all have drama and issues. So for this 2.5 hours that we get to share together, let's forget everything. Let's forget all the bullshit. Let's just have some fun together.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what you expect at any Silvertung show.
Yeah,
and the show's not the same from show to show. We're very spontaneous. Some things may happen, some things may not happen.
Being yourself on stage and carrying yourself the same way off the stage should speak volume. I mean, high energy shows are awesome. That's what to me gets me into a show.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just like zombies up there playing, I mean, just give me a pill and let's just go to sleep.
Right, exactly. Either that, or I could have got this from just listening to the album. I could just put on the CD in or tune into iTunes, and I could have saved myself $10-12 without doing all that. I didn't have to come and see a show that the guys are just standing there. I mean, we put on a show. We interact with the crowd a lot. We get the crowd around to get into us a lot, and they just feed off of us, and we feed off of them, and it's just a good time. I think we kind of take. If we could afford some of the bigger stuff that we're talking about for the future, and hopefully for 2014 or 15, we kind of pull off the realms of the Motley Crues and maybe not as far as that band Kiss. That's a little too much. We can't afford pyro and all that stuff. But just some of the crazy antics, just that we just, nobody gets hurt, but it's just a lot of fun, and that's what it's really all about for us.
Speed, how would you want the fans to remember you guys by when they leave your show?
I want them to be exhausted. I want them to be just as exhausted as I am, because then I know that they had a great time with us. I mean, a lot of times what we'll do is in smaller shows, we'll finish up our set and we'll go as close to the merch table as we can or close to the front door as we can, and we greet people as they leave as well. If they come to the merch table, then that's great. We'll just do it there. But a lot of people come to us and they're like, I can't speak. I'm going to lose I'm not going to have a voice tomorrow. And we always say, well, you know what that means? That means you had a good time.
Yeah.
You'll remember us tomorrow when you're going, I can't talk because I screamed so loud last night. Well, that means you had a good time with us then.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys prefer clubs or festivals, or does it even really matter?
It doesn't really matter because we'll take a fan one by one. It doesn't have to be 7 million or anything. You know, we've played in front of 96,000, 97,000 people. It doesn't really matter to us. It's wherever someone is willing to listen.
What do you think that Silvertung brings to the table for music?
For music, wow, that's a good question. That's one that I haven't had yet.
Wow.
What does Silvertung bring to the table of music? I would have to say a connection. I think we make a connection with just about anybody. Because I think our music is that, we're not Dream Theater, so we don't write something that you have to really, really think about, because it's just the emotions that we go through and that everyone else goes through. We're not the greatest musicians in the world, so, it's what we do together. It's our connection and the connection that we make with our fans. I think that's pretty much what we bring to the table.
Is there any memorable shows that stick out in your mind that you can't believe that you got to play with a certain band or a certain festival, possibly?
Oh, yes. A couple of shows, actually. We did the Uproar tour.
Nice.
We did the Mayhem tour, which was with Godsmack and Disturbed. We were completely blown away by that show. Here we are, 4 or 5 shows in, and we're like, man, I still can't believe that, we're on the same bill with these guys that we grew up listening to. Mm-hmm. And then the following year after that was Godsmack, Papa Roach, Stained, and Shinedown. And we never thought we would ever got as far as Godsmack and Disturbed. Well, now here we are with Godsmack and Shinedown and Papa Roach and Stained. I mean, these guys are just, they're great bands. So I think those two are probably the most memorable ones more than anything else. I mean, we've done stuff with Buck Cherry and stuff, and they were fun. They were really great. I mean, These guys are really, really cool. But I think those two would probably be the most memorable shows.
As I was talking to Speed before we went to do the interview here, I told him that I had nothing but respect for this band. And they were presented with a huge, huge honor here. And I'll let him tell everybody exactly what I'm talking about.
We were presented with a certificate and a flag, a traditionally folded flag. Now, there's a difference there. Mm-hmm. When a flag is folded for commercial reasons, they have a piece of cardboard in them, and then they fold them to the specs of the cardboard. With a self-folded flag, there is no cardboard on the inside. And this flag came from the tomb of the unknown soldier. And this was presented to us because a group called Hot Rods for Heroes came to us 2 years ago, I think it was, maybe 3 years ago. And they said, hey, my name's Ronnie Greenwood. I represent Hot Rods for Heroes. This is what we do for veterans. We're just looking for a little, and we said, whatever you need. He said, well, you don't even know what I'm asking. We said, we don't care. You said it was for the troops. Whatever you need, we'll work with you. We'll do whatever we have to. He said, but you don't understand what I'm asking you. We said, we don't care. These guys are the reasons why we get to stay home and do what we do. Mm-hmm. Do you need us to go perform for them? We'll do it. Do you need us to go help raise money? We'll do it. But we haven't had the opportunity and the honor yet to go play for them, but we have had the honor to actually help raise money for some of the soldiers that have come home and their insurance didn't cover everything that they needed. So we helped raise money for them and their families. And that's happened 2 or 3, I think maybe 4 times now. And we were presented with the award because without hesitation, we stepped up. We figured this is the least that we can do. So let us help in our way. Let's help the troops as much as they've helped us, which, you can't measure what they've done for us. Nobody, none of us can.
Exactly.
So with us being able to just do that little tidbit of stuff that we can to help them out, and we'll do it again. We're already scheduled to do shows this year that is going to help raise money for the troops that are, some wounded, some not wounded, whoever needs the help, from the military. We're there to help out, and that's where this all came from. We weren't expecting none of this. This wasn't even thought about, not even a small thought of wow, we're going to do this and we're going to get awarded with something.
Yeah.
That never even crossed our minds. And this just came out of the blue at one show. Mr. Ronnie Greenwood from Hot Rods for Heroes came to us along with our tattoo guy, Mr. Tony DeVille from DeVille Inc., who has also done a lot of work with Hot Rods for Heroes. So then he was presented with the same thing, and we didn't know about that either. So when we were presented with it, it was a pretty emotional night for us. We, in the middle of rocking out and everybody having a good time, and then you're presented this, you kind of come back to reality and go, wow.
I would love to have BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio blasted over there for the troops. Like I said, I mean, it's just something for them to listen to, and I'm sure there's other stuff that they can, but just different flavors of music and everything, So any little small part that we can do.
I'm definitely sure I could probably get you in contact with Ronnie Greenwood and let him see what he could do to help out. And he's got a lot of good connections over that way.
That would be
that
would be much appreciated, Speed, honestly. That's been my main goal since I started the show, and to help locals out too.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely help out in any way that we can to get you in that direction, and
awesome.
That way you could, push out some of this music to those guys as well. I mean, it was a great honor. And then when we found out that it was a true folded flag from the guys that were guarding at that point, that just made it even bigger. It was just huge. It was great to know that we got it, and then we find out, here's the difference between a commercially folded flag and a traditional folded flag that came straight from those soldiers.
Mm. Speed, I want to thank you for taking time out to do this interview with me today, man. It's been an honor to have you on here.
No, thank you. No, it's an honor for me to be on here with you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, my friend. How can people get a hold of you or the band to say, hey, we love your music, or want to buy your merch? How can they do that?
The best way to do it is www.silvertung.com. Now, tongue is spelled T-U-N-G, all one word, .com. That is the best. From there, you can go to our Facebook, our Twitter, our personal emails, whatever. You can contact us directly from there.
Man, like I said, thanks for the music. This is a really good CD. Everybody, if you get a chance to see this band live, check them out. Go pick up their new CD, Devils in the Details, and check them out. Give them a chance. I'm sure you'll love it. Speed, before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. What do you want me to say? Hey, guys, this is Speed from Silvertung. You listen to BODS Mayhem Hour. Keep rocking.
Awesome. Everybody, stick around. We got some music coming up from Silvertung. Actually, we're going to have several tracks coming off this new CD from these guys. You only hear these interviews. Oh, brother, not a problem. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Keep looking out for some more awesome interviews, guys. Thanks, Speed.
Thank you, brother.